Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Am I audible to everybody? Can you please switch on your cameras, everyone? Good morning, Anna. I hope you were not having any difficulties now. Was it easy for you to join the class?
I found a guiding video and it helped a lot.
It helped you, and you were able to also see the link in the calendar?
Um, yeah, I had to add it in, yes.
All right. Good morning, Sanjana, sorry. Good morning, Sanjana.
Good morning.
How are you all doing?
Good.
Okay, so I might be having some difficulty in pronouncing your names, so please excuse me for that. Uh, okay, and please correct me also if I'm mispronouncing your names, okay? Because we are meeting for the very first time and we are all located in different regions. I might be having little bit of a difficulty there. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. Please confirm if you are able to see. All of you, can you please keep your cameras on? All right, can you see my screen, everybody? Please confirm.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, so let me introduce myself first to everybody. My name is Bhavna Khanna, and I am going to teach you psychology. I'm living in Delhi currently, and I am teaching in an international school. And taking IB diploma classes only. And I've been teaching this course for many years now. And I've worked in various international schools across India, and I've taught in different curriculums also. Uh, I'm also an examiner for diploma programs since 2017. And I'm a very simple person, and I enjoy cooking and gardening during my free time. And this year, I am looking forward to learning together with all of you. Um Today, this is going to be the objective. I've just introduced myself to all of you. So I will also try to understand each one of you before I start off with the class. Then I'm going to explore with you what psychology is really about and how it is connected to everyday life. Okay. So can you take a moment and reflect on this image that you can see on the screen? What do you think? What does this image depicts? Anybody can answer this. What do you think it depicts? Sorry.
The
She's not
complexity
able
of
to
the
speak.
human mind.
Pardon?
Sorry, like the complexity of the human mind, perhaps?
The complexity of the human mind. Anyone else who would like to answer? Sanjana, would you like to try?
I agree with Yana. It's also, but I can't really see the image
Oh,
properly.
okay, let me just put this. Can you see it now?
It looks the same as before.
Is it not showing in the as a full screen mode?
No.
Okay, maybe I'll get used to this system. Okay, anyone else who would like to share? Arna? Arna, would you like to share, dear? Aditya? Okay, let us move ahead. And
May I
I
say something? Sorry.
Isla was, yeah, Isla, would you like to share?
No. Perhaps clicking on the slideshow thing would help us see the slides better. There is a on top where the words are. There is a what's it called?
Can you see it now?
No, like above where all the images are, where all the icons are. There's a text saying
Yeah,
slide.
I have done that. Yana, I did that
Oh,
earlier,
really?
but I think there's some issue. You are not able to see it. I am trying to fit into the screen also and full screen also. Can you see it now as a full screen?
I think everything you do is at least like 30 seconds behind what we can see.
Okay. Is it visible to you now or not?
It's visible, just a little hard.
That I can understand. It's on the full screen mode. I don't know why it's not showing properly to all of you. I've also kept it on the presentation mode. Just hold on. Let me reshare it then. Sorry for that. So can you all introduce yourself first to me, and also tell me one of the reasons why you have chosen psychology, what interests you about this subject? I would like to know you from your names so that I can also pronounce you properly, your names properly. Okay. Can we start off with Alexandra?
Hi, my name is Alexandra Lin. I'm currently living in Shanghai, China. And I'm sorry, I didn't hear clearly what the question was. Why did I join IB Psychology?
Yeah.
So why I joined IB Psychology is because I plan on majoring in it, and I'm a dancer, and I'm really interested in dance and movement therapy. So to study that, I needed to take psychology.
That's great, Alexandra. Next, Yenna, would you like to introduce yourself, dear?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm Yana. I'm originally from Korea, but I live in China as well, Nanjing. And I've been going to an international school my whole life, so I've been exposed to a lot of different cultures, and I just realized that like depending on each individual's background, the way that their thought, behavior, and mannerisms change dramatically. And I just find that really fascinating. And I wanted to know the psychological aspects behind it. And that's what motivated to join a Pamoja class, even though our school doesn't provide psychology.
That's the reason why you are here, isn't it? Okay. Tiana? Yes, Tiana. Please
Hi.
unmute. Yeah. Hello, dear. So please introduce yourself, Tiana.
Oh, hi. I'm Xiaojing, and you can also call me Tiana. And I'm currently living in Tianjin, China, in an international school. And I take psychology because it really interests me, and I plan to do it as my major in the future. Yeah, thank you.
That's great. Next, Sanjana.
Hi, I'm Sanjana. I live in Singapore. I like to read, and I chose psychology because I've always been interested in it, and I
Mhm.
want to be a lawyer in the future. And I've
Mm.
also watched a lot of like psychology-based shows, so
Mm.
I've always been interested in like behavioral psychology and stuff like that.
Nice. Beta, you're Arna, or how do you pronounce your name?
Hi, so my name is Aranika, but you can just call me Arana.
Arana, okay.
Yes. I'm interested in psychology and I chose psychology HL because I like to analyze because I want to be a literature professor, so that's a skill that I need. And I also like behavioral psychology. I want to see what impacts people and why they act the way they do. So that was my choice. I like to read and write as well.
That's nice. Harrison? Yeah, Harrison. Hello.
Is my microphone working now?
Yeah, it is working.
Yeah. Okay. I'm from Kaohsiung American School in Taiwan, and a reason I really wanted to choose psychology as an IB course is because my mother's a teacher, and like just being raised in like an environment with a teacher, it's very interesting to see how they interact with students, like the ways they approach the students and vice versa. And that kind of really motivated me to choose psychology as a class itself.
Nice to hear that. Isla? I hope I pronounced it correctly, dear.
Hi, my name is Kyla. I'm from England,
I'm
and I
so
currently
sorry.
live in.
Isla, okay.
It's okay. I'm from England, but I currently live in Singapore. The reason I chose psychology is because I've always been really interested in it, and particularly want to pursue a career in either clinical or forensic psychology, very much focusing on behavioral aspects. I also have already had a passion in psychology for quite a while, reading a lot of books about it and watching a lot of shows and movies about it.
Next, Aditya.
Hello. Yeah, my name's Aditya. Sorry, my camera's not working, but I'm interested in psychology because I'm really interested in sports. I play football on a daily basis for a club in Singapore, and I just want to learn more about sports psychology and behavioral psychology. Nice to meet you.
Same here. I'm so sorry, but I'm unable to pronounce your name. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Hugo. You can just call me Marian.
Marian.
Yeah, I've chose to do psychology because I have been interested in it for a few years, and I also want to pursue it as a major for my university. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Hopefully it's visible to you now, everybody. Is it visible? Is my screen visible? I'm sharing my PPT with all of you. Can anyone please confirm to me?
Yes, it's visible.
It is visible, and is it on the uh, presentation mode now? Can you see it on the presentation mode?
No.
You don't? I don't know what's the issue, but I will try to correct it after the class. It's showing the option I have chosen as full screen only, but I don't know why it is not visible to all of you this way. Maybe I need to first add this PPT in the class. Hold on. All right, let me just explain this to you because right now I'm not able to find that option. So what is psychology? Can anyone tell me what you understand from the word psychology? Since I can see that most of you are already very much interested, you might have already read something about it, and what you will be learning during your course. You have already completed your first week. Assignments are also submitted by most of you. So can you tell me what do you understand from the word psychology? And what do you expect to learn in this course? Anyone? Yeah.
Psychology is the study of human mind, the human
Hmm.
mind, and it looks into human emotions and behavior.
Hmm.
So I'm expecting to learn more about that as well.
Yeah,
Um,
you've correctly mentioned it. So it is the study of mind and behavior, but we use the term mental processes instead of mind. So it is a scientific study of mental processes and behavior and how it is affected by the internal processes and the environment. Can anyone tell me what are mental processes? What do you think? What all will be included in your mental processes?
I know that there's both perspectives on the conscious and unconscious mind, looking at both cognitive processes as well as emotional processes. So, what each things that differentiate for each individual, and also elements that we share.
Yeah, so when we talk about cognitive processes, it's another term that we use for mental processes, and mental processes are basically what when we say that we are attending to something, we are memorizing something, we are engaging in reasoning, thinking, critical thinking, paying attention to the class when the teacher is teaching you. All these are mental processes that we engage with. And this is a primary area of focus when we talk about psychology. What are we intending to study? We want to study about these mental processes and how these different functions our brain is performing, and how it is also in turn having an impact on our behavior. And when we say it is a scientific study, what do you think makes it a scientific study? Why do you think we call psychology as a scientific study?
It involves coming up with hypotheses and testing those hypotheses to come to not necessarily a conclusion, but a new argument or provide new reasoning to justify a conclusion.
Yeah, very good. So is it only about testing hypothesis, or can we also use any other research method to investigate about human behavior? Are there any other mental processes that we research methods that we focus on to investigate further about human behavior apart from experimentation?
We can use like case studies and things like that to see what how human behavior was in the past as well through real life examples, and then study it through that.
Yes, very good. So it's not just about experimentation. That's one part of it. We classify it under quantitative research techniques. That's the focus of your second week. And also, we can use qualitative research techniques like interviews, case studies. We can also engage with observations. And in order to study more about human behaviors, that's why we are calling it as a scientific study, because we are objectively studying behavior, and we are not inferring anything based on just common sense or whatever we know already about human behavior. And it is also very important that we keep the context of the individual in mind whenever we are studying that individual. We know that any human being it's a combination of all the factors combined together. It is not just the context or the biological factor or the cognitive factor. Everything is studied in combination. Okay. Is this clear to everybody? Shall I move ahead? Okay, I would like you to now reflect on something. When we say that behavior is determined by our biology or by our culture or by our thought processes, what do you think is most relevant for your behavior right now? Do you think it is your cognitive processing that is more important? It's your being a physical body that is more important, that has an impact on behavior, or is it the external factors? What do you think plays a more important role? Somebody who hasn't spoken yet. Aditya or maybe Harrison, if you would like to share something with us. What do you think about it?
I think that our behavior is shaped through many things, such as our culture experiences, but I also believe that it's partially genetic. Like, I think we're going to learn about it, but like our cognitive experiences, as well as how we were brought up, the ethics, the culture we grew up in, play a big part in our overall behavior and mannerisms.
Okay, so you think it is the combination of all three and not just the one factor. Is that so?
Yes.
Okay. Who agrees with Harrison? How many of you agree with him? Or if you have a different opinion, can you please share your opinion with us?
I think I agree with his statement to an extent.
Hmm.
Because although there are biological factors, I think what makes human are the fact that we can think in depth compared to other animals, or yeah. So the human mind.
Yeah, so everything works in combination, and we cannot say that human beings are purely biological beings. Of course, we, the physiology has an impact on us, but what matters apart from, the genetics or the other neurochemical substances is also how the context in which we are brought up, the culture, the context that plays a very important role. So when we are looking at a human behavior, we are not going to limit ourselves to just one aspect. We will be explaining the behavior from multiple lenses. We are going to have our focus should always be on everything, the any potential factor that can have an influence on human behavior. Okay, now what is the purpose and promise of IB psychology? uh, Psychology is developed around it will help you in understanding the conceptual uh, uh, you know the things, the concepts that are there, which will be applied throughout the course. It will help you in understanding the different research methods and also ethics. Now, why do you think we are studying ethics in psychology? What is the relevance of studying ethics? Ethics about how to conduct research, ethics about how to if you are a practicing psychologist, how as a professional, how you can follow ethics in your practice. So why do you think ethics is an important element in psychology? Do you know anything about ethics?
I think ethics are highly important, as especially when psychology first grew about and first became a concept studied. There were many different sorts of experiments that were not ethical and tested on individuals and animals that we believe to be close to the human mind in very unethical ways, leading to trauma that developed during and after the result. Like the Stanford prison experiment, that is one of like the most famous examples of unethical testing on individuals. And so as we're trying to understand the mind, we don't want to hurt the same mind. So ethics is of very high importance in modern experiments.
Yeah. So after unethical research studies, there are many examples in the history of psychology where the research studies were unethical, and which actually made the psychologists think about the practices and how we can retain the the subject should not lose its significance. So that's why, there are very clear ethical standards, and we have to abide by those standards even when you are conducting within your course your internal assessment. You will be expected to do it, the practicals that you will be carrying out, everything will be conducted using the ethical standards. Okay, so you will be deep diving that into that as well during your course. Now transfer your knowledge and thinking critically, because you will be connecting the concepts, the context, as well as the content together. And you will see how throughout your course there will be application of concepts. You will also understand the real life application of the theories that you will be studying within the course. Okay, and it is expected that you remain engaged throughout the learning of this course. How many of you have already read the guide, psychology guide? Have you read the psychology guide, DP psychology guide? Okay, none of you have. Okay, are you familiar with the course requirements? Okay, so this if you can see this particular, I don't know whether you're able to see it properly or not, but if you look at this, this is the entire course which is actually explained through this particular diagram. So within the course of psychology, you will be studying 6 concepts, which is bias, change, measurement, causality, perspective, and responsibility. You will be studying biological, cognitive, socio-cultural approaches to behavior research methodology, and you will also study how to apply the knowledge of the theories and the concepts when you are studying the context. You will also be engaging with practicals. So when it comes to the standard level, the students who are choosing standard level, they are expected to study the core content, context, concepts, and they will be tested uh, on paper 1 and paper 2, and they will not have any extension. If you are in HL course, the core content, you need to study the content, context, concepts, and there are extensions, motivation, culture, and technology, and there is an additional paper of data analysis, which is your paper 3. So you will be appearing in your in 3 papers. I think all of you are HL students, so there is paper 1, 2, and paper 3. Paper 1 is based on your understanding of the approaches to behavior along with the context. Paper 2 is more of what you did in your practicals. So you must very sincerely engage in conducting your practicals throughout the course, because in your paper 2, they will test your knowledge and understanding of how you have conducted the practicals. In paper 3, it is more of data analysis. So you will be studying about statistics and their application in the study of psychology. When you are doing your class practical, you will be trying out some classic psychological studies, and you will also see how the theories will come alive through hands-on activities. You will also practice thinking and acting like a psychologist, and it will help in building your skills for internal assessment. So basically, these practicals that you will be engaging with will be part of your course. And then there is a research proposal, which is a part of your internal assessment requirement, which all of you need to write a research report. And you will be well equipped in doing so once you are aware of how you have conducted the practicals, what procedures you have followed, and how you have utilized your understanding of research methodology. So everything will become clear to you eventually, and I think you will be able to perform very well. Within your year 1, you will be introduced to IB psychology, a research methodology, the biological approach plus practical. There will be one practical that you will be conducting after we complete the biological approach unit. Then you have cognitive approaches, plus there will be one practical from cognitive approaches unit, and then there will be end of the year exam. Do you have any questions from this? No? In your year 2, you have socio-cultural approach, plus there will be one practical. Then you will be doing your internal assessments. Then there will be trial exams. And then we will try to bring everything together, which is the content, concept, and context, because you will see the questions, the exam style questions, which are framed by the IB. It is not just testing your knowledge of one component. Everything is tested in combination. So as I said, that you will be you will develop your critical thinking. So they will gauge it through different scenario based questions, if whether or not you're able to identify concepts from the research studies that are given to you, whether you are able to understand or evaluate the practicals that you have conducted. And there are different critical thinking terminologies that you will be acquainted with throughout your course. Now, how or what is the expectation from you, how you will be learning in your IB psychology course? What is expected from you, that you will read the course text and the resources very carefully. You will complete all the lessons and activities on time. You have to join the live sessions and the online events regularly. You need to ask questions whenever you feel you have any doubt. Please reach out and ask questions. You can message me also. You need to take part in class practicals. Build your IA step by step into a full research proposal. You please also contribute to discussion forums and submit your assignments by the due date. Reach out for support whenever you feel you have any doubts. Okay. Do you have any questions so far? Anyone? Shall I move to week 2 now? Any questions, anyone, or should I start the week 2 PPT research methodology? All right, let me start off with this. Okay, so what does this diagram tells you? Is it visible to you also? Files, I'm not able to access the file section. Just give me 1 minute. I'm trying to share the PPT. Is it visible? Okay. So what do you see in this diagram? I hope this is visible to everyone. Is it visible to all of you or not?
Sorry, no, I don't think we're seeing a diagram here. We just see
Yeah,
the.
you're meant to click the slide. Like we should have access to the. So I can see it just at the bottom. It says a slide 1 of 12. Click the little arrows and you can go through them yourself.
Right. I did that.
No, for you it's fine. It's for them so they can see it.
Now you can see or not?
Yeah, we can.
You can see, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this diagram that you are seeing right now, it is the heart of the new course, and it brings together the three key elements here in the course, which is the content, concepts, and context. And all are linked through behavior. And the central focus is on behavior and what makes psychology distinctive. Okay, you are expected to look at behavior through all the different lenses rather memorizing the facts. So earlier in the previous year, the course was more focused on research and its application in different fields. However, now it is more focused on the concepts. So IB uses certain psychological literacy to describe this, and you should be able to apply it critically and ethically in the real world situation. Okay. Uh, so if you see these six concepts like bias, culture, and responsibility, these are not certain extra things that you have to study. They are critical thinking tools that you will be applying throughout your course. Now, moving on to the next slide, it talks about quantitative and the difference between quantitative and qualitative. I would like you to think about it, take some time, and tell me which type of a method it is. When we talk about quantitative, which method is quantitative method within psychology? So the focus here is how much of something, how many, what is the difference between the groups. When we talk about qualitative, it is why or how did that feel or tell me about it. So when we talk about quantitative research approach, it is more of experiments and correlational studies and surveys also to a certain extent. Qualitative, it's case studies, interviews, observations. So these are the two main research methods that you will be studying, although you will be studying the other research methods also, but the main focus would be on experiments and interviews for some time. Now, what are experiments? There are different types of experiments. Let me move to the next slide. So you will see this is also listed in your psychology guide in page number 27 and 28. Please go through the guide carefully, everyone. Now, you don't have to learn all of these in depth, but you should have knowledge of everything. Okay, you should know everything, because when you will be conducting your practicals, you will be using these research methods to conduct your practicals. So you should know how to apply these research methods for doing your practicals. Okay. Now, what is an experiment? and what is a true experiment and how it is different from a quasi experiment? Can anyone tell me what is a true experiment? What do you think it is?
Isn't it a controlled experiment where you manipulate the independent variable and observe its impact on the dependent variable? Is that?
Yeah, so that is done in controlled situation. How is this different from a quasi experiment? Does anyone know what is a quasi experiment if you have already reviewed the week 2 guidance? Yes.
In quasi-experiment, sometimes the independent variables are not necessarily manipulated, right?
Sometimes or never?
I think sometimes, right? Sometimes it can be manipulated, but sometimes it occurs naturally.
Okay. So please try to understand when we talk about a quasi experiment. First thing that you need to understand is you cannot show any cause and effect relationship in a quasi experiment because it is more of a correlational study. Okay. Secondly, we never manipulate variables in a quasi experiment because the participants are allocated to different conditions on the basis of their pre-existing variables. Okay, now what are these pre-existing variables? Somebody's age, gender, their employment status, okay, their test scores in some exam, presence of a certain event, right? So these are certain things which are out of control because the researcher cannot manipulate these variables. If I want to understand the gender differences, suppose for example in terms of mathematical ability, now gender is not something that I can manipulate, but what I can do is I can have in one of my groups I can have all the females and in another group I can have all the males, and then maybe I can give them some mathematical problem, and at the end I just compare their test scores with each other, so that will give me a fair idea of how genders are different in terms of their mathematical ability. Are you getting it? So that will be an example of a quasi experiment where the researcher doesn't have any the researcher cannot manipulate the independent variable. The independent variable is already existing. Is that clear to everybody or not? And also when we talk about a quasi experiment, the factor or the trait that we are studying, it is something which is part of a person's disposition. So it is not something which is an externally existing factor. It is a part of your disposition. So suppose if I'm trying to understand the personality differences, okay, or if I'm trying to understand, as I mentioned, gender differences, or even in terms of age, how a certain factor will be visible. Okay, so it is a part of your disposition, the gender, the age, maybe the the school that you're going to. I'm not I cannot manipulate that variable as a researcher. I have to study you with the given variables. Is that clear to you? But when we talk about a true experiment, we also call it as a lab experiment. Okay. And in a lab experiment, the researcher has a free hand to manipulate the variable. How? If I have to give you an example, I want to understand what is the memory recall of the students when they study with music or when they study without music. So I am randomly allocating you into two conditions, that is one with music, and one set of participants are going to be conditioned without music. And then I am at the end again calculating the scores of participants who were memorizing when music was uh, uh, you know played in the background, compared to the participants when the music was not played in the background, how their test scores will be different from each other, right? So that is a true experiment because I, as a researcher, I have a free hand to manipulate things, and I am trying to investigate or study the cause and effect relationship here. Is that clear? Is the difference between the two clear to you or not? See, if
I
you
have a question.
Yeah, please.
Is there any difference between the quasi-experiment and natural experiment?
Yes, there is. So when we say quasi means, as I said, somebody's disposition. You cannot change a personality factor. It is an individual trait. For example, the age, the gender, whether you have musical giftedness or not, whether you write from your right hand or your left hand. So your handedness, your ability to write with both hands. There are some students, or there are some people who can write with both hands. We call them as ambidextrous. Okay, so this is an individual fact. It's a part of you as a person, right? So that is quasi. When we talk about natural experiment is something which is a environmental factor. It is a part of your environment. Okay, uh, to give you an example, stress. Now, stress can be the course that you're studying. Okay. Suppose if I want to make a comparison of level of stress of students who have taken an IB diploma program and maybe somebody who's studying in Cambridge or in any other board or curriculum. So that will become a natural experiment. Why? Because you have selected a curriculum, and as a result of that, you're facing an issue. Maybe you're feeling stressed, or maybe you're not feeling that stressed, or you're able to manage yourself. So it's an extra thing which is external to you. It is not a part of your disposition. So that will become a natural experiment. Clear? Okay.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
hope that's clear, dear. Any other doubt? Okay, let me move ahead then. You will be studying about the types, the interviews also. Okay, now interviews are qualitative research technique. What is qualitative research technique, Sanjana?
It's like when you're not using data to find your research. Like the research method is like it can be through like a case study or something that isn't providing data, basically.
So why do you think semi-structured or interviews, for example, are a qualitative research method and not quantitative?
I would say it's because rather than providing a structured set of like facts or data, it gives more kind of it's like it doesn't provide that factual information, but rather is based off of like humans giving their input, basically. So it isn't fully verifiable through data, I believe.
So when we talk about qualitative research methods, interview is classified under the qualitative research method. And why it is qualitative? Because it helps in gathering in-depth information about the individual from their subjective experiences or their subjective perspectives. Okay, so I can just ask questions, and then I can ask further questions to clarify if something is if I have a doubt regarding something. And it can be conducted in different ways. So there can be semi-structured interviews where you are using an interview schedule to keep interviewer on the topic. So what is a schedule? So basically these are set of pre-prepared questions. The researcher knows what he is investigating or what type of information he needs from the participants of his study, and he prepares himself in advance. Okay, so even before he goes down to take the interview, or if before the scheduled session, he will sit down to write the questions that he has in his mind, and he can frame both open-ended and close-ended questions. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between an open-ended and a close-ended question? What are open questions and what are closed questions?
Uh, Open-ended questions are often questions like to what extent, or basically there's like multiple, like more than one answers, and then closed questions is that there's typically only like one simple answer to it.
Yeah, so open-ended is when it gives the scope to the interview to give information in detail, right? And close-ended would be more like where you do not need information in depth, but maybe a yes or a no, okay, type of a response. So that will be a closed response. And open-ended response also gives an opportunity to the interview to elaborate on something, okay. And when we say it's a semi-structured interview, of course, as I mentioned, that the researcher is focusing on a schedule which has a certain set of questions in it, but if the also the researcher is free to ask any other question that comes into his or her mind during the time of interview as well, based on whatever discussion is taking place, okay. What is a structured interview? You are going with a list of closed questions, okay, very specific questions you have, and you want to ask them in a certain order, and you follow that schedule without fail. You are not asking any question other than what you have already prepared. And usually the opportunity for elaboration is not given because they are closed questions, okay. Now, does anyone know what is a focus group? It is a type of an interview. Do you know about focus groups? Yeah. Would you like to share?
I'm not like fully sorry. No, Arana, you go. It's okay.
I thought it was like when there's a group of people and they all talk about a specific topic. So there's gonna be like not an interviewer, but someone who's gonna like kind of start off the conversation, and then they all discuss on one topic without explicitly asking questions. It's like an evaluation sometimes as well. That's what I heard.
Okay, so focus group is kind of a conversation which happens between 6 to 10 people. That means they are suffering from similar issues, okay, and they come together, and the interviewer, instead of asking too many questions, he is facilitating the discussion. And they are just responding to each other's explanation. So somebody is interested in sharing something, they can openly talk about their concerns or issues in a group situation. Can you give me example of when a focus group interview will be needed? Now you see that we are here with not with just one person, we are here with a group of people. So can you think of situations where it might be the best choice for the researcher? Anyone?
Like when you need feedback on an app or something, or like a concept that you're trying with specific people, like demographic, what they would think about it.
Yeah, that can be one of the examples. Apart from this, if suppose the researcher identify that people are suffering from similar type of issues, or they belong to a similar demographic area, and maybe they are lately facing with similar type of problems, then also you can bring together people and engage them with some discussions and come to a solution along with those discussions. Now, moving on, the next part is about your class practicals. Why? What do you think is the purpose of class practicals? Why do you think we have class practicals? In the previous course, we didn't have class practicals. What are practicals? Have you ever engaged with practicals in any subject? Tiana, have you engaged in practicals earlier? Tiana?
Sorry, my mic was like going on and off. it was like spazzing. But yeah, in my global class, we run through. It's like basically a bunch of concepts that show like methods and or routines in a certain area.
Okay, apart from that, it also gives you a hands-on experience on whatever you're learning within your course. Okay, so when you're studying health and well-being, you will be conducting interview, and the focus of that interview could be why might an interview be a good method for investigating stress. For example, you're investigating about stress with the use of interviews. Okay, then within the sphere of learning and cognition, you will be expected to conduct experiments. Okay, so this will give you a hands-on experience on how to conduct or how to use these research methods to study specific fields of psychology or to study specific topics within psychology. So why do you think an experiment is a best choice for studying learning and cognition and not any other research technique? Although you can apply all of these research techniques to all of these different context, but IB has chosen specifically experiments. For example, when you're doing learning and cognition, why do you think it is best to study learning and cognition through experiments? Okay, so you can think about it. In the next OLE, I will ask you this question again. Okay. So other research methods that you will be studying in your course are surveys and questionnaires. Okay, so they are used interchangeably also sometimes, questionnaires and surveys, because generally when you're conducting a survey, you use questionnaires to conduct a survey. And this can also be online or this can be face to face. It can be structured with some open questions also. Okay, then you have observations. You have to think about when you're talking about observation, maybe you might have observed it within your school setup also, that teachers are coming to your classroom and observing your classes. Okay, or maybe in class you have CCTV cameras to observe you. Okay, but there are different ways in which we conduct an observational research within the field of psychology. We will be studying about that. Then we also have case study. Case study is more of an eclectic type of a research approach where you can use quantitative and qualitative research together. So you can also conduct an interview, you can do an observation, you can give a questionnaire. All of this combined together is considered as a case study. Then we have correlational study. It helps you to produce statistical measurements, and it also helps you to understand relationship between two variables. You will be learning more about these when we will be going through the course, and please don't overburden yourself with them now, but think about the circumstances when you can use them. Okay, maybe for example, if I want to understand more about an experiment or an observation, I might rely on certain resources to further understand about them, maybe a YouTube video or something. So I am not breaking you away because we don't have that much of time, but if you can tell me when we might be using a observation or a case study, which situations will require the use of any of these research methods? Can you give me any example?
I think for observation, you use it when you don't want the participant to know you're conducting an experiment on them.
Okay.
And as for a case study, I think case studies are good for identifying like unique perspectives or unique, I guess, outliers.
Okay. Do you agree with him that we can only do an observation when we do not want our participants to know something, or we don't want them to know that we are conducting a research?
I agree somewhat because it's like it eliminates bias when it comes to experiments, as people who are being experimented on or the subject of the experiment often can manipulate their answers to fit a certain agenda. So I feel like, yeah, if they don't know and we're observing them, then it could eliminate bias, or just to see what their like true behavior is actually like.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
mean,
we call it as covert observation. What you both mentioned, sorry, we call that as covert observation, but there are different ways in which we can conduct observation. So please go through that. There are times when we may not inform the participant, as you said, the artificiality will come in their behavior, but there may be times when we will actually inform them before we observe. So that is called as an overt observation. So please go through the explanation of each of these. Okay, so when you're trying to measure the memory and explore the experience of someone who has brain injury, which type of a research method do you think will be most suitable for the investigation? I've just picked up one example from this. Which one do you think will be most suitable when you're trying to measure the memory and explore the experience of someone with brain injury?
I think
Maybe a
perhaps,
oh, sorry.
no, it's okay.
Maybe a case study.
Yeah, who's sharing?
Well, I would say, depending on situation, observations would be preferable for dealing with a specific patient. But if you were looking at a broad span of what injury to, let's say, injury to a specific part of the frontal lobe would have on an individual, you would need case studies to look at a wide variety of individuals to determine a better relationship between that injury and the effects on behavior. But if you were just specified down to one individual, then observations is probably more preferable.
Very good. Okay, so whatever data we are collecting from psychological research, can we always trust the data that we are collecting? Or there can be bias also, as somebody mentioned just now about the artificiality in behavior? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a big problem with certain overt observations or certain experiments where individuals know that they are participating in a specific experiment, which because it can create, like they said previously, demand characteristics within individuals, which is why, especially if you're trying to confirm or provide justification for a theory, you need to take measures to ensure validity and transparency in your experiment or study.
Very good. I think you're using all the relevant psychological terminologies to explain your response, Ayla. Very good. Now, what are our responsibilities if we do research? What are the responsibilities of a researcher when they're conducting research? Because we are conducting research on human beings, what kind of responsibilities we have towards our research participants?
Be ethical, to follow like the ethical procedures, and so that we don't kind of scar our like people that we're doing the experiment on, for example.
Okay. Anything else? apart from that? So what you mentioned, it is a part of protecting the participants from any type of physical and psychological harm. Okay. Other than this, we should also be giving them full information about what we are doing and why we are doing it. Okay. So that they are informed beforehand and they can take a informed decision whether or not they want to be a part of our research. Okay. Then they should also be given the right to withdraw from the study. Why do you think it is essential that we give this right to the research participants, that they can leave the study at any point of time?
Because it's a basic human right.
It's a basic human right. Ayla, I think you mentioned about the Zimbardo study. Who mentioned about the Zimbardo research? What kind of rights were threatened in that study?
In the Stanford prison experiment, a lot of human rights were neglected, specifically like mental health violations within those who were designated to be the prisoners, but also those designated to be the guards, as they were manipulated to be much more controlling, which not only affects the individuals in the experiment setting, but also went on to affect them in their daily lives afterwards, as they were impacted with such traits beyond the experiment, and it replicated in their own lives.
Yeah, very good. Now tell me if you have any questions. I've already taken more time. Let me know if you have any questions.
Could I actually just ask a quick question about the assignment? Because we are told to give like a kind of description on each of the 6 methods, but I'm unsure whether you want us to just, like, for example, for experiment or for interview, should we just, because it says short answer, should we just pick one specific, like, oh, for experiment we do only true experiment, and for interview we only do semi-structured, because otherwise we would have to detail.
You can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that is fine. That's allowed. I think most of you have submitted the first week assignment. I've already checked and given my feedback. Sanjana, you have not posted, because you've not posted in one of the discussions, because I didn't see your post in the discussions. So please keep a track of, maybe create a checklist that this needs to be completed. Please make a checklist for what all assignments are required to be submitted. Discussion and posts are important.
Okay, I will do that.
Will be reaching out personally to all of you, those who have not yet submitted the assignments, because I was also going through my class list and the students who are there with me. So kindly keep a track of things, okay? And I am always available and open to clarifying your doubts. So throughout the week, if you feel that you've read something you've not understood, please reach out to me through messages. You have that facility with you. I can also arrange a one-on-one session, but provided you reach out with some concerns, you're not able to understand something. Suppose if there is a delay in submission of assignment, maybe with the reasoning of why you are delaying it, but try not to delay it more than 2 to 3 days, okay? Because I will be checking your assignment throughout the week. So suppose if you're submitting an assignment on every Tuesday, that's the deadline for you. I have 1 week to check your assignment. So suppose if you are getting delayed by 1 or 2 days because of a certain reason, you can write a personal message to me. I will wait for 1 2 days for checking your work, because I have 1 week, and if I don't see the submission coming into, at that time, I need to put a remark of incomplete. So please, take care of these small things. Any other doubt? Thank you then. It was nice meeting you all.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
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 Thank you, everyone. Looking forward to the next class.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
I had a question about the discussions. Sorry, I just remembered.
Hmm.
Since I missed last week's one, I just checked. I don't think I can upload it now. Am I
No.
going to be marked as incomplete?
No, just for future, I just be a little bit more careful, okay? It
Okay,
was
sure.
just a reminder for you.
No worries. I'll do that. I'll do this week's one then. Sorry, I
Please.
didn't see it.
It's okay, no worries, no problem.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too, dear. Bye.
Bye.